really. There was no toe at all.
Yeah, it's very good to see the same shot trying. Yeah, it's very good to see the same shot trying. His non-balling arm. Sort out his non-balling arm. Good to see him trying to keep a bend. Good to see him trying. Another fielder on the onside. Another fielder on the onside. Fielder, backward square leg. Fielder, deep square leg. Backward square leg. And fine leg. Deep square leg. Fielder in catching position. Fine leg. Fielder in catching position. At the top edge.
Karuratne back on strike. Not a short one. Karuratne back on strike. Don't be too surprised if he gets a few. Don't be too surprised if flexing his back a little bit. I think it's flexing his back a little bit. No doubt about it. There is discomfort. No doubt about it. He'll bowl that length. He'll definitely bowl that length. Let's try and see the reaction of Dimut Karuratne after that short delivery, after he ducks underneath it. Yeah, there is. Yeah, he definitely flexed his back a little. Just. Yeah, you could. There you are. You could see that. You could see that. You could see that. Well, he's taking him on. Anything short, he's going to play the hook shot rather than keep ducking, because that's far more comforting and comfortable for him. Right, 2 balls back. He started off with that short delivery where Karuratne ducked hurriedly underneath it. And we know that he's carrying a little bit of an issue with his back, so it's not easy to be as flexible as that as he used to be.
And when you have so much of strapping on your bag, it's difficult to duck. Your bag doesn't arch. Edged, taken, and a big wicket for Pakistan. It's Naseem Shah once again.
This is huge. Absolutely huge. Dinesh Chandimal, the man who's been amongst the runs, has a rare failure in his home series, in the 4-match series, in his last innings. Going hard at a delivery that was wide of the off stump. He just couldn't reach it, and the length. Just a bit of shape. Naseem Shah doing the job for his captain. Chandimal goes for 21. Sri Lanka 117 for 5.
आजकल की गर्मी में चाहिए ज्यादा ठंडक फौरी, इसलिए यूरोपियन टेक्नोलॉजी से बने डॉलन्स इन्वर्टर एसी के विंड ब्लास्ट फीचर से मिले 30% ज्यादा एयर फ्लो, जो करे कमरे के हर कोने को सेकंडों में एक जैसा ठंडा।
Silva promised a lot in the first innings with 30 before he got out. Hasn't had a good home series. Had an issue with COVID, had to pull out of a game, but he hasn't really struck form. Dimut Karuratne on strike, but then I tell you, Dinesh Chandimal's wicket was huge. Now Salman Aga will continue. Salman Aga to the left-handed Dimut Karuratne with a short leg and a slip.
You know, bowlers always have a chance bowling that length and line. When you have the batsman thinking about those Yorkers, you entice the batsman into employing that stroke. Go after a wide delivery. was a huge wicket. It never looked like getting out. Dinesh Chandimal was batting beautifully.
Yeah, well done. Good try.
Yeah, it was a huge scalp, no doubt.
Good try, Agha. Good try.
A really important phase in the game for me. With Pakistan really paying for blood at both ends. Dimut Karnaratne, almost a wounded soldier. Just not able to move freely and be himself. And Pakistan searching for those wickets, just trying to keep things tight and searching for those wickets.
Only 5 left. Always a big wicket. Chandimal, technically so correct. And he can gauge any situation. 117 for 5.
And 17 for 5. See, one thing that Pakistan fielders, I think Rizwan in particular, what he's done on this tour is he's picked up a few Sri Lankan Sinhalese words. He did say an interesting one that last ball. Not that it really meant much. But Chandimal, yes, it was a big wicket.
A nice presentation of the scene. No deviation. The batsman was reaching for it. Hence, an edge. Nicely grabbed behind the stumps by Rizwan. Good to see the dry smile also. Although it was covered, but you could sense there was a smile. And that was because he knows no matter what sort of form you're in, a failure is round the corner. And you have to absorb that. Dhananjaya showed discomfort against Naseem Shah in the previous outing. That's how he's got to deal with Naseem Shah's pace in this one. When the pressure is revved up.
Pulled away in front of square. He's a good puller, he's a good cutter. Don't bowl short to him, and especially at that height, he'll enjoy it.
Yeah, hitting the ball in front of square, although it was not wide of off stump, tells you that he sighted the ball very early and was into the position to hit the ball in that direction. Off the mark. Only took him 3 deliveries to get off the mark.
Yeah, Pakistan and Sri Lanka will have an eye on that lead at the moment, 268. Well, going by historical records, one might think that 268 would be more than handy at goal, but then we know that Pakistan disproved that theory in the last game. Batting last and going into day 5, they did it with ease. So there's always the possibility. Another look at Mrs. Chandimal, Ishika Chandimal. She always makes sure that she's around when Dinesh Chandimal comes out to play cricket, and great follower of his cricket.
intriguing battle out there in the middle. Naseem Shah working up some pace. Fresh batsman at the crease. Pakistan in need of wickets. Absorbing stuff.
$121 for 5.
तारीख का सबसे ताकतवर एरियल ब्लू फार्मूले के साथ तो बनाओ कॉलर्स पे दागों की दीवार, जमेगा धूल, मिट्टी और पसीना, तो हो जाए मुकाबला नए एरियल से,
जिसके नीले जर्रात कॉलर्स पे जमे दागों की हर दीवार गिराए और दे चमकदार सफाई।
$121 for 5. Oh, just going past that outside edge. There'll always be some foot marks around that area with fast bowlers following through. And there was a minor explosion as well. But it will happen. It's something normal at goal. Fast bowlers are bowled from both ends, so there will be a few marks on that pitch, follow-throughs.
He's getting the ball to drift towards the leg stump. And also bowling the right pace, Salman Ali Agha. Not darting the ball in. Yes, he's bowling with low trajectory. He's a tall man. It wasn't a good delivery, ordinary one.
The key will be for Dhananjay now. He'll have to really take the lead here because Dimut Karnaratne is not himself, not 100%. So he'll just be knocking it into gaps. But this should be the man who'll really have to start getting this moving.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be extravagant. At the moment, Pakistan team on top, 5 wickets down. You have to bat with a measured approach.
You also got to understand that there is no Dikwalats to come in next because he's already opened and he's been dismissed. So it's Velalage who's a debutant. Ramesh Mendis did reasonably well in the first innings, taking Sri Lanka to that score, and Prabhat Jayasuriya hung around a bit. So this partnership matters a lot for Sri Lanka going forward.
And we'll come back to that. It's 123 for 5.
डॉलन्स इन्वर्टर एसी के विंड ब्लास्ट फीचर से मिले 30% ज्यादा एयर फ्लो जो करे कमरे के हर कोने को सेकंडों में एक जैसा ठंडा, क्योंकि डॉलन्स रिलायबल है।
Have done well by picking up 5 wickets for just 123 runs. Oh, failed it. Failed it. He's been brilliant there. We saw him taking a beauty in the first test match where he went aerial. He took a beautiful catch once again, diving at the right moment. Definitely saving some runs. Yeah, I'm with you. Dhananjaya has to be responsible in this innings. The reason why I say that, Dimut is not only fighting with the opposition, he's fighting with his fitness as well. he stays there and keep on taking care of Dimuth by keeping him away from the strike, he'll be doing a job for his team.
Yeah, that will be the order of the day as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. But look at the way the Pakistan fielders are moving around. There's a definite spring in their step. You spoke about Yasir Shah's fielding. The catch he took in the first innings. Now, fielding efforts like that just lifts a team, isn't it? Not that they need any lifting at the moment. They're really pumped up with 5 wickets down. But then it all adds up in terms of the motivation and in terms of that determination.
If all the fielders are fleet-footed, it creates that positive energy in the field. Keeps everybody vibrant. Keeps everybody to stay with the program. And so far, this attitude has worked for Pakistan in this innings. A couple more in next half an hour will hold Pakistan in a better stead.
Oh, the edge doesn't carry. It's been an impressive spell by this young man. He's probed that line outside the off stump. His lines and lengths have been good. He's found the outside edge. He's bowled aggressively. This is another good delivery that finds the outside edge and drops short of Barber.
Yeah, bowling his heart out. Vim and Wigger getting the ball to zip through. Prawns mixed with brains. Bowling the right line and lengths as well. Finishes another good over. It's 123 for 5.
तुम्हारे कंधों पे
मतलब डैंड्रफ वापस कल ही तो शैम्पू किया था।
तो शैम्पू बदलो और ले आओ हेड एंड शोल्डर्स। इसका बाकायदा इस्तेमाल करें खुश्की के जर्म्स पर असर 100% तक खुश्की मिटाए और लौटने से रोके। हेड एंड शोल्डर्स कंधे से बोझ हटा दे।
You spoke about that drift. That's quite prevalent and evident, but he would like to try and go a little bit fuller. See, allowing Dimuth to play off the back foot.
He might pick up a wicket here, Salman Ali Agha, but I think it's time for Yasir Shah. No point allowing these two batsmen to get their eye in. At the moment, they have started to deal with Salman Ali Agha's bowling with comfort and ease. Pakistani captain should realize that. He should be searching for wickets all the time.
Onto the pads. That time could have been a possible inside edge. Yeah, you're right. I mean, sometimes, well, he's considered a part-timer, so I may use the word part-timer. But you bring him on, you get a wicket, then you open and end up, and then you need to come back with your main bowler.
I'm with you. 100% in agreement. Naseem Shah is bowling very well. He's keeping the batsman under pressure. Get another frontline bowler from the other side. Double the pressure. Let's see how these two batsmen react. It's time for Yasir Shah. It is.
Got one more ball left in the over. That's a bad ball. That's a really bad ball. That will run away for byes. It's 4 byes to end the over. I think that might signal Salman Aga's ending of his spell. 129 for 5.
आजकल की गर्मी में चाहिए ज्यादा ठंडक फौरी, इसलिए यूरोपियन टेक्नोलॉजी से बने डॉलन्स इन्वर्टर एसी के विंड ब्लास्ट फीचर से मिले 30% ज्यादा एयर फ्लो, जो करे कमरे के हर कोने को सेकंडों में एक जैसा ठंडा, क्योंकि डॉलन्स रिलायबल है.
For 5, Sri Lanka. Karunaratne digging in, his partner Dhananjay De Silva. Runs are not easy to come by. Nasim Shah, second spell of 3 overs. Picking up the prized wicket of Dinesh Chandimal. Yasir Shah replaces him. 276. The lead, Pakistan will believe. They still have a chance. Remember, we are only in the 3rd day. Good evening, Farviz Maroof.
Good evening to you, Russell. Good evening to all our viewers. Yes, it's been a tough ride for Sri Lanka for taking the first innings lead. They've been made to work hard, really. Skipper Karunaratne fighting it through with his back issue.
Sri Lanka started with a lead of 147 now. There's a clean sweep in terms of first innings leads that Sri Lanka has had in Test cricket. The moment it's been above 150, they've not lost any. 4 drawn and gone on to win 28 out of 32 times. They've had a lead of 150, but in this instance, just below 147.
Neatly played by Dhananjay De Silva. There was enough turn and width to play that stroke. No valiant effort. Just got good enough. Fawad Alam in the first innings as well did a big chase and a similar one on this occasion. Unfortunately for him, the effort goes in vain.
The length and then the turn, giving width to Dhananjay De Silva. Superb. Oh, he touches the cushions. That ball's just not falling down. There we go. So no doubt about it. Boundary to Dhananjay De Silva.
Nasim Shah after the tea break for 3 overs from the fort, and I thought really impressive right throughout the game. In fact, 27 overs so far, picked up 5 wickets. What's commendable about is the effort and the lengths he's been bowled right throughout.
Shot for the second time in the over. 137 for 5.
I just wanted to make the point that Nasim Shah, maybe one more over, as Dhananjay De Silva is not that settled yet. But saying that, captaincy is the best.
इसके सामने सर कैसे खो जाऊं? वो देखो।
क्या था वहाँ?
इस शर्मिंदा कर देने वाली खारिश की वजह हो सकती है डैंड्रफ। नया हेड एंड शोल्डर्स नीम के साथ आया। हेड एंड शोल्डर्स नीम, ये डैंड्रफ से लड़े और सर की खारिश कम करे, कंधे से बोझ हटा दे।
पीछे निकल जा, आप बाहर हो जाना।
284 the lead. This is very interesting. Salman Ali Agha, his 7-over spell has come to an end as we thought. Replaced by Babar Azam. What did you make of that, Farweez?
Just hard to understand, especially when you have three frontline spinners, especially also Dhananjay De Silva, who is fairly new to the middle, could have got the option of Norman Ali or Mohammad Nawaz. But Babar Azam is taking the medal to his hand itself and trying his luck maybe.
The only thing I can think of is he wants an off-break bowler, just like Salman Agha. 2 test wickets. Yasin Miraj of Bangladesh and Alex Carey of Australia. The 2 wickets that Babar Azam has picked up. He certainly wouldn't have picked up a wicket with that length. These are freebies.
Christmas come early for Dhananjay De Silva there. Short, wide. You all know how Dhananjay De Silva is so strong, square of the wicket. And that was through a spinner. He's not going to miss out. Nicely placed, nicely timed. A boundary.
A bit of pressure was building. Not exactly what Pakistan would have wanted. For this partnership to take off, for the likes of Dhananjay De Silva, Dimut Karnaratne to feel comfortable. 3 boundaries. In the last 7 or 8 years, more runs. This is running away. Way down leg side. Mohammad Rizwan, it counts against him, but it was fired down leg side.
Quite strange, to be honest, straight away when he came to the ball, and now it just doubles it, isn't it? There's no way that Mohammad Rizwan is going to hold on to that. Unfortunately, it goes against him. Couple of boundaries, 4 byes and a boundary. The last over, pull shot from Dhananjay De Silva off Yasir Shah, just releasing the pressure, just what the Sri Lankans needed to feel better. 293, they still remember, and they will remember the huge score the Pakistanis chased down the last test match. Every run is very vital for Sri Lanka.
Oh, he missed out. That was a full toss. He tried to play it square so he can get another boundary where the gap is. Yeah. The umpire asked him, Babar Azam, to take that tape off, but it's on a finger that just doesn't come into play though.
Also with Dimut Karnaratne, I'm sure he would have been plenty of taping on his back as well. Back strains usually will take a little time, lots of strapping, and similarly with Babar Azam, see a lot of slip fielders do have their fingers covered. Easy couple. Oh no, Dimut Karna says no. Maybe he cannot turn probably with quicker, sending Dhananjay De Silva back. Sri Lanka 147 for 5. This was a replay here. For a second I thought it was an easy couple. He's struggling. He's struggling. Maybe the turn as well. The right thing, taking much risk. Babar Azam is finishing his first over, giving up 10 runs. plenty of options. Salman, Mohammad Ali, Mohammad Nawaz. He chose himself and gifting Sri Lankan 10 runs.
Well, suddenly with the change of bowling, it's gotten loose from both ends. More runs. Runs away quickly. 150 for Sri Lanka.
Runs coming in heaps for Sri Lanka. Lead passing 298 now. This was not that a bad ball. Just slightly shorter. Thickish outside edge. Trying to go towards deep extra cuff for a single, Dhananjay Silva. But got the thickest of edge all around the ground. Chasing Imamul Haq. Yeah, not going to make it.
Yeah, the field has to change. The fielder with the helmet disappears to a deepish gully. It's not a catching position. It's more to try and put Dhananjay De Silva off playing that late cut. Looking for every opportunity to get back onto that back foot.
Runs been coming pretty easy for Sri Lanka. 22 runs of 14 deliveries. Nicely played. The fielder just behind gully area, the no man's zone. I feel it's just mind games with Dhananjay De Silva, who is really good at playing the late cut, stopping him from playing that stroke. Boundary option, if when it's short, this length, I think it should be fine. And this is what I think Yasir Shah would be wanting to bowl more often than not.
Yeah, much better from Yasir. Quite gloomy at this stage, clouds moving over us. We experienced similar conditions even yesterday, but we were able to go on till 5:30. Oh, he carves that through. That was wet. That brings up the 300-run lead. Sri Lanka's lead 302 as they're 155 for 5.
डॉलन्स इन्वर्टर एसी के विंड ब्लास्ट फीचर से मिले 30% ज्यादा एयर फ्लो जो करे कमरे के हर कोने को सेकंडों में एक जैसा ठंडा, क्योंकि डॉलन्स रिलायबल है.
This beautifully. He created the width very quickly.
Yeah, bread and butter there for Dhananjay De Silva. Loves it in that area. It was much quicker by Yasir Shah. Hence, Dhananjay De Silva did not want to hit it too hard. Just had to get the placement right.
Yep, wins the race for the moment. Well, the one-over experiment from Babar Azam, that's ended. It's Mohammad Nawaz. It's just about 6-7 over spells that Azam looks like being his preferred number for a spell for the spinners.
I feel skipper Babar Azam is the trick by just bowling 3 overs of Nasim Shah from the 410. Oh, huge turn. Probably off the rough. Couldn't believe for a second as well. And was way outside the yaw stump. The bowler follows through, comes in. Nicely kept as well by Mohammad Rizwan. It's quite safe in the stumps of Pakistan.
Dunit Wellalage on debut. Ramesh Mendes, Prabhat Jayasuriya, Asita Fernando. They'll take note of this. That was a couple of balls ago. How much it turned out of the rough. 3 spinners in that lot. They'll also try to assess what pace, what lengths, what lines to bowl. But they were pretty good in that first innings. But now there's a lot more help for the spinners.
Also with Dimut's back injury, it will be hampering him to play the reverse sweep. We've seen it many times in the last 3 weeks or so. Anything away from the stumps, way outside the off stump, he has used that for a good effect. Yes, he has got out to score at not Qasim Shah off Yasir Shah, but in this equation with the issues going through, I think that's something that will be really hard to play. And if he can play it, it's a safe shot since there was no one to play the single. 156 for 5. Time to go to work. Evenings. Pleasant weather so far. There's some dark clouds hovering around.
हमारी अपनी बुटीक की लॉन्च है और डिजाइनर हेयर फॉल का शिकार मॉडल वाले बालों के लिए मॉडल वाले शैम्पू फॉर हेयर फॉल पैंटीन इज माय चॉइस।
इसमें है फर्मेंटेड राइस वाटर और प्रोविटामिन फॉर्मूला जो सिर्फ 14 दिन में हेयर फॉल कम करे।
दोनों पीछे निकल जाए, दोनों पीछे कबाए, दोनों एक भी इस तरफ।
He needs a little bit more oomph to get it going. That's the oomph Pakistan need right now to finish this Sri Lankan innings off. 5 more wickets to get. In proportions that they will not feel too uncomfortable about. The simple reason they hunted that down easily. Change of ends. Change of angle for Yasir Shah. All right, he's on his way. In calmer waters.
Yeah, on his way. Except for the yellow jersey, which is Chelsea. It would be ideal if it's a red jersey. Manchester United I'm talking about.
Liverpool fan Parvez Maroof talking about red jerseys.
Never was, never will. And from them 62, Manchester United.
Oh, he's got it out. And nicely too.
Wow, good to see him playing that. Mentioned about last week and the first boundary with a reverse sweep. Nicely played, controlled. Placement was key and got it spot on. Still stretch his back a little bit more.
It's offering them some pace, Yasir Shah, because both batsmen have used it very nicely to motor along.
feel Dimut Karunaratne more he bats in the middle, more flexible he can get. It might be easing off, maybe. I'm just guessing where he started and where he's playing at the moment. Maybe running and turning will be an issue. But I just feel sometimes the body gets warmed up and you get agility. Sometimes it might work in your favor. I think that's where the physios have to get it right. If it's spasm, it'll take a little time. And eventually, luckily for Dimut Karunaratne, not that much have touched much cricket going forward. He should be okay in a few weeks' time. But what he's going to do in this innings, as well as if he can come and captain, I think that will be very, very key for Sri Lanka.
Trying to hit that rough just outside leg stump. Just with the angle. $161 for 5.
On his way.
डॉलन्स इन्वर्टर एसी के विंड ब्लास्ट फीचर से मिले 30% ज्यादा एयर फ्लो जो करे कमरे के हर कोने को सेकंडों में एक जैसा ठंडा, क्योंकि डॉलन्स रिलायबल है.
And the request of tourists is to make a visit. We have so much culture to offer you, so much places to visit. At the moment, Sri Lanka cruising along 161 for 5, a lead of 308 with captain and vice captain Dhananjaya and Dimut doing the job.
Oh, stranded. Or are they dropping anchor? But now Dimut Karunaratne has dropped anchor. Yes, he's restricted. But he's just helping his partners build partnerships. 44 runs. Dhananjaya De Silva, the dominant partner in this one. He needs to get down, get his weight in front. Won't be easy. Being restricted. Those back injuries never easy. Enough bat.
Off the stumps that occasion by Dimut. Mohammad Nawaz thought for a second he's in the business if Dimut Karunaratne had missed it. Off the rough. Luckily at the right time getting the bat down. Feeling the pain, not comfortable, doing it for the country.
And that one kept slightly lower. Quietly seeing a bit of up and down bounce. Oh, great work. Imamul Haq getting out the big dive.
Just what you need to get the spirits high. Latter part of the day, never easy. It's been very hot and humid. Getting down the ground by Dimut Karunaratne this time. Not finding Imamul Haq at short mid-wicket.
Imamul Haq. Oh, that's a great effort. Very good. It's always nice to see yourself, especially when you do something good. Giant screen puts up all those photos, all those pictures, the replays.
Little things like those, especially so late in the game, will lift the spirits of a fielding team. That's why I reckon this Pakistan team still should be having the idea of, having the faith in chasing down any score, especially what they did in the last game. And Silimidon has moved into Silimidov now for the final delivery. And the square leg fielder coming a little bit finer for the paddle sweep, which could be a effective stroke in these conditions and is with a huge gap.
164 for 5.
आजकल की गर्मी में चाहिए ज्यादा ठंडक फौरी, इसलिए यूरोपियन टेक्नोलॉजी से बने डॉलन्स इन्वर्टर एसी के विंड ब्लास्ट फीचर से मिले 30% ज्यादा एयर फ्लो, जो करे कमरे के हर कोने को सेकंडों में एक जैसा ठंडा, क्योंकि डॉलन्स रिलायबल है.
So 1 wicket, and hope Sri Lanka will be hoping to keep it remain at 1 itself. Pakistan at least another 3, maybe 2, maybe 4. Make them feel better going into day 4 tomorrow.
Yasir Shah to continue. 23 more overs today. That's what we have remaining. The in-out field that we're so used to seeing in the slower conditions, especially in Galle.
It's been a fighting knock so far by skipper Demut. They say never write off wounded soldier. That's where I think Demut, with his back injury, fighting it on. He understands every run is very important, trying to defend the score after seeing his team being beaten by a magnificent batting effort by Pakistan in the 4th innings of the first test. Coming round the wicket to the right-hander, Yasir Shah.
Difficult to find the nook or corner where there is no cricket happening. 50-run partnership for the 6th wicket, a very good one. Sri Lanka were 117 for 5. Needing to push on, and it's come in quick time.
Yeah, the 2 senior players doing it for Sri Lanka in tough circumstances. Never been easy, especially with the injured skipper, but they have been quite solid. This is a good option. The previous we saw Dhananjay De Silva want to play with the bat. It's a safe option to take this, just bat it out.
He's trying, Yasir Shah. He knows how important it is to try and get the breakthrough. His first couple of overs just didn't go his way. Ended up landing. It's short, got put away. Now forced to come in this angle. Keeping a close eye on proceedings. 167 for 5.
इन्वर्टर एसी के विंड ब्लास्ट फीचर से मिले 30% ज्यादा एयर फ्लो, जो करे कमरे के हर कोने को सेकंडों में एक जैसा ठंडा, क्योंकि डॉलन्स रिलायबल है.
It's a very, very important partnership for Sri Lanka. They weren't in safe waters. Not that they're in safe waters yet, but they're feeling the calmness of it a little bit better. From 117 for 5 to be 167 for 5. There is turn. There is definite turn for Mohammad Nawaz from outside the off stump. Good evening, Mr. Ackerman. How have you been?
I think you're panicking more than they are. Calm waters, 314 is big lead, massive lead.
That's what we thought in the first test. 342 looked massive. To be proven wrong. Poor delivery, but Karunaratne is doing his job. All he needs to do is just knock it into gaps, just hang in there, but he's not comfortable, I can tell you. And those waters do look fairly calm, at least from where we are, from a height.
I've been told, though, that this pitch is very different to the one that was played in the first test match. And that it's tougher to bat on.
What's the evidence? Because I don't think the ball has misbehaved at all. I mean, the odd ball has spun, but I haven't seen an up and down bounce. It has been generally all right, isn't it? Up to this point, it's not been a difficult pitch to bat on.
No, I'm just listening to. I listened to Niroshan Dikwela this morning tell me that this surface is a better one for batting. I've heard Faviz Maharouf sit here and say that. He was slightly contradicted by one of our esteemed colleagues. Faviz Maharouf spoke about this being tougher to bat on than the first test match.
Single. 169 for 5. $169 for 5. And a very, very good partnership indeed at the moment. Turning out to be the best in the innings. And important. Scott coming up. Well, lots of running repairs. But while that happens, we'll show you some really pretty big places in Sri Lanka.
Here are its people. They live, grow and love. And they remember you, so thank you. Thank you for supporting us, for coming to our island and allowing us to say, welcome to our home. Because when you do, we can. This is Sri Lanka.
Well, that's Sri Lanka. That's Sri Lanka for you. And if you're thinking about coming along and visiting this country, I don't think you should think twice. It's a beautiful place, one of the finest, and you're bound to enjoy the hospitality wherever you are. You should plan your next visit, your next holiday. You have gorgeous places like this, and this is so historical. Right inside that is the Dutch port that was built a good 500-600 years ago. So plenty to visit, plenty to see. And plus, of course, the lovely coasts. And I'm sure H.D. Ackerman next to me will endorse it. He's seen so much of the coast in the south.
I just wish some of these test matches went 3 or 4 days so we could see more instead of 5 days. Just going back to the surface that you've been speaking about, is it? I don't think Sri Lanka bowled particularly well in that first test match. And I know that 342, the record chase, and you've got to play very well. You never want to take anything away from Pakistan, but there was a sole hand by Prabhat Jayasuriya. He was the only guy that provided any sort of threat whatsoever. Ramesh Mendis has bowled well in this test match so far. So again, I do feel that 316 is already a significant lead. I mean, look at the turn that is on offer. There's plenty here. There's plenty. But you can't build pressure from just one side all day, and that's what Sri Lanka did in the first test match. They bowled much better in this test match.
Yes, I agree. That was a massive factor. There was no support at the other end. We talk about partnerships in bowling. That was not prevalent at all. You're spot on. I mean, I couldn't have agreed more with you, honestly. But let's take nothing away from that Pakistan chase. It was a wonderful chase and full marks to them. But yes, there was a contributory factor. I like this line from Yasir Shah. It appears to be negative, but it's a tight line that he's bowling. Bowling around that leg stump, midland leg with a lot of turn.
What he's hoping for is Dhananjaya De Silva to try and sweep, and if he sweeps out of there, he gets a top edge, and there's a man at 45 that can take the catch, or if he pushes at it, maybe the ball can go to slip.
It's a good over. 169 for 5.
हमारी अपनी बुटीक की लॉन्च है और डिजाइनर हेयर फॉल का शिकार मॉडल वाले बालों के लिए मॉडल वाले शैम्पू फॉर हेयर फॉल पैंटीन इज माय चॉइस
इसमें है फर्मेंटेड राइस वाटर और प्रोविटामिन फॉर्मूला जो सिर्फ 14 दिन में हेयर फॉल कम करे.
They would have been a little bit disappointed that people like Chandamal and Dikwela didn't go on, but they bowled beautifully, and the return to form of Ramesh Mendis has been critical. Jayasuriya, he's just been his usual self since he's joined the international fold.
We got 20 overs remaining in the day, but that's not very significant in the context of the game, with Sri Lanka leading by 316 runs. 2 days to go in the test match. The light dimming a bit. Pakistan going with the spinners. Quite a few of them on the ramparts. That's a very nice place to watch the game. It's quite high. It's very pleasant. The evenings are lovely.
Yeah, I must admit, I prefer where there's a railing in front. It's a beautiful view, but just stay back from the edge.
No, but actually they're quite broad there, and also it's not a. On that rampart, it's pretty broad. I'll tell you. Yes, I do agree with you that edges are dangerous. I'm scared of heights, but then look at that. It's quite broad.
And those fellas at the back, I get that. But tell me about the men in the front with the feet hanging over the edge. There's a breeze up there as well.
No, I'm not saying what they're doing is right. I endorse. I agree with you, but I'm only saying, giving you a bit of comfort, because it is broad, so there is some space. Well, the Dutch and the Portuguese, when they built it, they knew they had to place their troops on top of it. They needed some space.
They built it to protect those coming from underneath. It's got to start again here, Dhananjaya De Silva. Gets a start in virtually every innings that he plays. We're just waiting for this man to go on and get a big total, because he's so good to watch. And he's threatened throughout this, I'm going to call it summer, not really summer, but this cricketing sort of carnival that we've had here in Galle. Dhananjaya De Silva, he's got in so many times but just not gone on.
The sweep goes, and has it split the gap? What? I think it has. Can't Gunaratna, I think, did well to get down there to play that sweep because he's having an issue with his back. But I think he did extremely well to get down as low as that to play that stroke.
There's that old saying, beware the injured man. Think of Malcolm Marshall batting with plaster. Marshall bowled with plaster on his forearm and got plenty of wickets in a test match. Gordon Greenwich got a double 100. Yep, beware the injured man.
As a matter of interest, we're talking about the fortress and all that. 434 years is the actual age of this great monument.